I think for the first time I made a video, I've checked it over and I didn't like it. Scrapped it away. So as another one, I don't want to be as boring as in the first one, so I'm trying to be quick. I supposed to fit steering rack, as you know in the previous video, but that one didn't fit. Simple reason is because, let me just grab the light. You see that mount over there, that ball over there? That's supposed to be the mount of the steering rack, and there was no space because if I had to move it up, it would hit that anti-roll bar, and also it was too close to the actuator for the turbo, so that wasn't a go, and I made this. It is a bit of ugly, it's not really pretty, but it's functional and it's mega strong, so that's what we want. This section here is actually, this is where you know what it is, but for who doesn't know, this is the internal, fucking light won't stay on, give me a sec. So this part here is the part that slides left and right inside the steering rack, so it's all original. Now why did I have to move it up, let's say, where steering rack will fit if you didn't have to move it up? I had to move it up because, let me just show again, you see these top mounts? This is where they have to be. There's no space, I can't put them over here, they have to be over there. So what happens is that the angle of the suspensions, of the shock, is not really straight. Let me just put the light down. You can see this is straight and this is on an angle, usually that way. So I moved it from the original position to the forward position. What that means, I clocked the whole knuckle a little bit. And you say, okay, what's the difference? Well, the difference is when you clock it, all right, so what happens, you move this pivot here in comparison to this pivot here. Move it there. So what happens, you change the angle of these arms, this one, between this one and this one here. This is the steering arm, which now, because this is a rear setup, is a toe arm, because this is going to be used to adjust the toe on the back. And the difference between the toe arm, let's call it this way, and the suspension arm. So what happens when you change the angles, all these angles are not working on the same. Now every up and down movement on the arm that is on the angle will have a lateral movement. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's say, let me grab this quickly. Let's say we have a pivot here. This is your subframe mount. Let's put this here and put it completely down. All right, there you go. So this is your point. You see already draw it over there in the previous video, which was completely shit. So let's say I move it up, okay, let's say nearly straight. Okay, that's your suspension travel. Obviously I'm exaggerating to exaggerate obviously my point, but that's what happens. This is the point. So we went from here up to here, okay, this is the height, okay, and obviously this is, we went from here. Let's draw the line up. Again, it's not precision drawing, it's just to give you a point, alright, fair enough. Now you see how much lateral movement it is. Now if this arm is a different length or different angle, that position would change. Again, simulate. Instead of from here, okay, we have, let's say for example, a steering arm which is much higher, so this will be under much greater angle. Again, exaggerating. Let's put the mark here and put the mark here, okay. Let's go the same height, so that section there doesn't move, and you go the same height because this is your suspension travel. All right, you see, this is the difference in the lateral movement. Now what does that transmit to? Practically it means you're fucked, because that's what happens. Let me remove this because I won't be able to show it. Lateral movement, your suspension goes up and down, and this does this. So essentially what you have is called the bump steer. So every time you hit a bump, you realize they're gonna steer left and right independently. So that's, you don't want to do that because it's very unpleasant to drive. It makes the car very unstable, and all those sort of stuff that you really don't want in a car. That's why I made that that's why we needed the steering wheel rack to go up a little bit, which we didn't have this, enough space. I could maybe make something, but it would be ridiculous, it would be stupid, you know, and it's like this was the easiest road to do it. Maybe not as beautiful as we keep in the steering wheel rack, which you can see I chopped this section off, but this way just worked much better, quicker and cleaner and stronger, I think. So this is sorted. Now what else I have? I actually got plenty of progress on the car. I got the big injectors in, I got the tandem pump in, I got the clutch, flywheel, gearbox on, cleaned a little bit. I got the turbo back in because I need to work on the turbo intake, because remember the turbo system I've built it while the engine is supposed to still be in the original position, so behind the axis, behind the car, not mid-engine. As now it's mid-engine like a Ferrari. So I have to work on that stuff. I've done what I said. I've done the fuel lines. I've done the engine luma on the engine side. Not completely, because as you can see, there's plenty of stuff to do with the regarding the wires. I've mocked up the water hoses. I had to remove a lot of it. They're going completely different roads. A few of them are actually eliminated, because we have eliminated the heat exchanger between the oil and the cooler. As you've seen in one of the previous videos, I made this custom made blank plate, whatever you want to call it, from the piston. This is a 1UZ V8 piston. This is actually complicated inside. There's plenty of going on inside there. It's not just bolted on piston. There's lots of stuff went into it. Yes, I fitted these two sensors because the sandwich plate already had these holes in it, drilled and tapped, so we use them for the temp sensor and the pressure sensor. The plate you see in here, this is I think it's 6060 aluminium or 6061, I can't remember exactly now. Still have to be drilled and tapped for the AN10 fittings, because this is gonna be remote oil filter housing, as obviously there's no space because that one fits in the front of the engine, but now obviously where that's supposed to be we have the bed, so that will have to be mounted remotely. Same for the oil dipstick. I still have to find out the position, but I think I have it here. Obviously the dipstick inside has to be longer and different material as well, it has to be more flexible. But that's pretty much it. Oh, this one here is flipped. It doesn't match the hole completely, so I'm not really sure it's gonna work. The O-ring just fits on the surface before going off the surface, so I'm hoping it's gonna be alright. If not, I'm just gonna make this different thing from the Bora or a Golf. But it may be alright, so for now I just left it on and see how it goes. If it leaks, if there's any problems, we're gonna replace it. Engine mount, yeah, a bit of artistic there. I've done it completely, and yeah, all this section here is pretty much done. So now I'm working on refitting all the turbo system slowly and routing the exhaust. On this one I'm not sure yet where we're gonna go, if we're gonna go this way or make a U-turn and go this way. I have no idea yet because I'm waiting for the radiator. Now, because we created so much room inside the engine bay, I want to exaggerate with the cooling force, and I've ordered a Supra, the 80 series Supra, which is the bigger radiator, which fits there perfectly on the angle. And the radiator we had before, which is that one there, I don't know if you can see it, that was the radiator of the engine before. We're gonna use it for the charge cooler. So that's it. I think I'm gonna wait a bit longer to make another video, because now we on the part of the build when it's very boring, because you do a lot of small things, you don't really see much progress. I mean, engine is there, what else do you want to see? The subframe is there. I mean, small fittings, small bits, small corrections, and wiring loom and pipe bit over there or over here, working out the spaces and places and length of the cables. It takes time. It is quite a lot of labor put into it, but you don't really physically see much of a progress. So again, it's boring. I don't want to make videos of just, you know, same images, same stuff, just this here and this there. Fuck it, it's no point. So I'm gonna do as much more progress as I can and then make another video to show you what I've done. The engine will have to come out again, but for the last time, because I have to do small corrections and paint some of the metal I scratched with the anti-rust. But apart of that, yeah, it will go in the next time permanently. So happy days. Not long, and I think this thing, yeah, we're gonna have some road tests.